Let's be a bit ballsy and go for 2 hours. Methinks. Oh. Oh no. Uh-oh. Oh, that sucks big time. Being ballsy was not the right decision. And we're just going onward to the dam. No, oh, come on, the wind changed right as I did this.
Oh yeah.
It's fine. 2 coal. We're still blocked for the time being. Man, I'm just happy I don't have hypothermia. Oh, okay. That sucks, that sucks. Keep climbing for me. It's gonna get to about like 41 or something. Yeah, 41. That's decent. Let's get our teas warmed up. Make one more because we can. Okay. Okay, the fire's going. We're still warming up. I'm gonna try and get the gut off this. But if for even a second this fire goes out, we bail in this. Okay. Again, we're still warming up. Let's attempt to get the hide. Okay. Re-warm up all the teas, and then we walk for the dam. We're not gonna run, because we're too low on fatigue. Okay. Negative 53. Let's get to one of the trailers and sleep for an hour, and then get to the dam. I want to get to the dam before actually resting, but I don't want to lose, like, I don't want to lose any condition if I can help it. Whew. 1 hour.
It's so cold to think.
Oh my gosh. Overconfidence had almost spelled my doom. Only by the mercy of COD was I alive at this moment. I was fortunate enough that the blizzard had only started close to the end of my nap, and I only lost about 10% condition before waking up. I say only because it is a miracle that it wasn't more, but 10% is still a massive hit to my survivor. In the last episode, I got one of the worst possible misery afflictions, Haunted Mind, which reduces the maximum amount of time that I could sleep and halves my condition restoration from sleeping. This meant that losing even 5% condition would take a long time to recover from. Despite this, though, I was beyond happy to just be alive. I slept for a tiny bit to avoid losing any more condition to fatigue, and then quickly made it to the dam. Once I was inside, I made my next plans and slept through the night before returning to Signal Hill. Fortunately, it was a clear and sunny day as I stepped outside the dam and into the winding river. I started a fire by a deer carcass on the way to the cave so that I could warm up and grab myself another deer hide. The weather did start to turn for the worse, but by then I had already finished up with the deer carcass and was nearing the cave. My most pressing issue at the moment was that I was running really low on food. I had enough that I could keep myself from losing well fed for another day or so, but if I didn't start trying to refill my stores soon, I would find myself in a tricky spot. Once I made it out the other side of the cave, the winds had died down, and I found myself in the rare spot where Pleasant Valley was actually pleasant. Emma Stone scored us another rabbit, and I walked past a deer carcass. I really wanted to stop and get the hide and meat from the carcass, but doing that would mean that I wouldn't have much downtime at Signal Hill. It wasn't too much of a risk, so I started a fire by the deer carcass, warmed up my survivor, some tea, and harvested what I needed from the deer and the rabbit. By the time I was done there, the winds were picking up again, and it was getting close to dusk. I had to hurry my way to Signal Hill because I was determined to make it to the bunker tonight. Fortunately, I had repaired everything but the scrap metal already, all the way back in the first episode of this series, so it didn't take long to finish up the transmitter. I stepped into the radio hut for a quick nap to warm my survivor up and allow my survivor to sprint more on the way to the bunker. I stepped out of the hut and straight into a blizzard. But I didn't let that faze me. Normally, I wouldn't even think about continuing in these conditions, but there were two things working in my favor. First, whenever you repair a radio tower, the next night you are guaranteed to have an aurora. And that guaranteed aurora will start as soon as it can, overriding any currently active weather. It would only be about another hour until the aurora would start up, so I knew that this blizzard would be out of my hair very soon. Plus, I was already planning on starting a fire on the way to the bunker anyways, so I could warm up there. Second, let's take a look at my condition. Holy moly, how did I regain so much in only one day? Remember last time how I talked about birch bark tea being even more important than ever for condition gain? Well, I had a couple of those bad boys ready to go after we got jumped by that blizzard, and they had allowed me to gain a lot of condition really quickly. I would try to avoid losing my newly restored condition if possible, but I had enough now that I was okay losing a tiny bit on the way to the bunker if need be. Every single piece of birch bark was incredibly valuable to me, and I had to make sure to make the most of... Wait, what are you doing? Star, stop, no! You didn't swap the tinder, you idiot! Don't click the button! No! Wait, did I swap off the birch bark? I hope I didn't just use my birch bark on accident. Did I end up using it on accident? I did, didn't I? Ugh. Damn it. That's a very big blunder on my part now, isn't it? I absolutely hate that the game defaults to having birch bark be the first Tinder choice. It is always my last choice for Tinder. But, alas, it is what it is. At this fire I now had, rest in peace birch bark, I made a bowl of porridge and warmed up a bit while waiting for the aurora to start. The aurora should stop this thing any second now, honestly. Let's just get some porridge. Like, once the moon's fully above the line, this should stop. Yeah, right there. Boom. But it is not all sunshine and rainbows, because I gotta get going now. Or I'd let the aurora kick off too much, because there is a bear that tends to roam right where we're going. I made my way over to the bunker as fast as my little freezing legs could take me. Luckily, there was no bear on the way over, and I was able to make it to the bunker without any problems or distractions. I opened the hatch and hopped in without ever dropping below 50% condition. I was cozy, warm, and finally had a chance to ponder while I looted the bunker. So I know that they adjusted the loot to be Interloper and Pence Misery level in the Omega bunker, but I'm curious if the technical balaclava will still be there. I highly doubt that it would be. That being said, I think it should be, because the act of finishing the tails on Misery is so difficult already. Like, it's not like the tactical balaclava is actually going to make much of a difference, and it's just a nice reward to have. With the bunker looted and all the story items collected, I slept through the night and awoke with nearly 60% condition. With this bunker done, I now had to make my way all the way back to Forsaken Airfield once again. Remember how the entirety of the first episode of this series was getting from Pleasant Valley to the shortwave radio? Well, now I have to do almost that exact same journey again. Except this time, nearly all the locations along the way have already been looted. I had no time to waste. The most concerning thing was that I had used up my final tea on the way to this bunker, so I would be very vulnerable to freezing on the way over if I couldn't find more materials for tea soon. I started to make my way back towards the dam, grabbing cattails along the way and any tea materials that I could find. I passed through the farmhouse and the shed so that I could have a couple areas to warm up in, and then I headed straight for the winding river. While I was making my way over there, I started to get a little bit paranoid. When did it get so warm? This is kind of eerie because I don't know, it's kind of giving
us.
I don't know, it's kind of giving calm before the storm energy to me. I don't trust this. I slept through the night inside the Carter Dam and headed back out once again. This time into negative 42-degree weather. So, at least I wasn't paranoid about the weather anymore. After I left the dam, I stopped for a moment to collect all of the cattails below the bridge, which would help last me for a decent while as far as food goes. Plus, I found a deer carcass to harvest, as well as set out with good old Emma Stone once again. Alright. Stone, don't fail me now. Oh, dead on target. Perfect throw. You are an angel. A geological miracle. After collecting all the cattails and harvesting what I could from the ptarmigan and deer carcasses, I started to make my way towards the camp office. Once I got there, I collected up all of the gut and hides that I had left there to cure previously. Unfortunately, some of the gut hadn't fully cured. I also didn't have a chance to fully harvest the ptarmigan carcass that I got, and I really wanted the down for improvised insulation. I had to decide if it would be smarter to risk carrying 2 raw gut and a ptarmigan carcass into Forlorn Muskeg, or to leave them behind. I eventually opted to bring them with me. Seeing as the region is so open and you can outwalk any predator that is following you as long as you don't have anything slowing you down, like over-encumbrance or a terrible headwind, I felt that it was worth the risk. So I went into Forlorn Muskeg. At which point the wind got really bad and I immediately had a terrible headwind that was slowing me down. Figures. A wolf started following me and was able to get close enough to charge, thanks to the wind, which forced me to use my last flare. But the worst part was how long I ended up freezing because of how much slower the wind made me. I had lost about 15% condition between the entrance to the muskeg and poachers, which was pretty terrible. The bright side was that I had enough firewood on me and around the train cars that I would be able to make a fire and stay in poachers through the night. Once I woke up, I set out once again, but instead of going straight for Broken Railroad, I decided to make a detour. I had left the heavy hammer in the cave that's near the transition to Mountain Town, and I wanted to go retrieve it for 2 reasons. 1, I wanted to attempt to start to make acorn coffee to provide more warming up bonuses, but also allow me to continue traveling for longer periods without sleeping. 2, that cave is also right next to that big birch forest. The birch bark there should have respawned by now, and I wanted to secure more birch bark tea to help me regain some of the condition that I lost. I made it to the cave, now at about 30% condition, and once I was inside, I used the time to harvest the ptarmigan that I was carrying and let my hides cure a bit more. Oh, I'm getting really scared of this next affliction. Is it day 17 yet? There it is. What do you know? Wow. That's kind of comical. Luckily, this affliction wasn't too bad, but hey, would anything really seem even half as bad as Haunted Mind ended up being for us? Not being able to sprint would potentially put us in some bad spots in the future, but all in all, it was more of a blessing in disguise, as it would help me pace my character better. That being said, it did mean that we would be going a good bit slower, which also meant more time fighting the cold. I finished up with the ptarmigan, and then went out to look for birch bark, and found a whopping 9 pieces. That is enough for 4 teas right there, a free 20% condition. Plus, as I left the cave after a night of rest, I found another piece of birch bark that I had missed before. 5th tea, baby, that's what I love to see. And it was a nice day, too. Huh. I could actually sort of feel that uneasy paranoia returning at this point. Especially as I made my way through Broken Railroad, I didn't have a run-in with a single wolf throughout that entire region, which was especially abnormal because I still had a bit of a stink from the gut I was carrying. By the time that I made it to the branch line again, I was holding steady at 30% condition. I made a fire to warm myself up, some tea, as well as making some bannocks and porridge before continuing on. I continued to press through the branch line, making very good time and avoiding the wolf near the cave that I had left the rabbit hide and gut in to cure last episode. As I popped my little head into Transfer Pass once again, I saw the beautiful colors of the aurora. I was cold and out of warm tea though. I didn't really have any good fuel for a fire, so I started to look around for a limb that I could start a fire near and then break down to help myself warm up. I spotted 2 fir limbs right next to each other and started to settle down by my fire. Wait to make sure that we're for sure good. Fortunately, unless the wind picks up, it's an aurora, so the weather shouldn't take a turn. Wind picked up. Of course it did. Oh, wait. Oh, hey, buddy. Where are you at on restore condition? Yep, drop this. Keep that up real quick, like, for me. Thank you. Might be able to cheese out a little bit more time. Of course the wind picked up. Why did I have to go and open my big dumb mouth? I frantically warmed up my final birch bark tea to try and get myself above freezing for a bit longer, as I made my final trek to the vacant depot. But of course, the wind was a headwind at the exact angle where I would be as slow as possible getting to the depot. I was really annoyed with this because it took me easily 3 times as long to get to the depot than it should have, and because of that, I fell down below 20% condition. I basically lost somewhere between 15 and 20% condition just walking from the entrance of Transfer Pass to the depot. That is not a far distance. I was just going that slow thanks to the wind. For any of you that watch my streams, you know that I have a really toxic relationship with headwinds. You would think that the odds of a headwind would be about 50-50, but I swear, I get headwinds 9 times out of 10. The tailwind is a very occasional thing that is very short-lived more often than not for me. But anyways, all of the condition that I had regained from the birch bark tea was gone now, and I was not happy about it. But at least I had made it. My final birch bark tea was still active for a little longer, and I was hopeful that a good night's rest would get me back to a decent spot. My dreams that night were unpleasant, to say the least, and it left me with a very grim feeling, like there was a pit in my stomach. I tried not to think about it too much. The weather outside wasn't too bad, and I still had 2 more teas that I could warm up for the journey to the hangar. I set out, so eager to finally put Signal Void behind me. For those of you who don't know, walking on the paved roads actually provides a slight increase your movement speed. It's not like super noticeable, but it's there. At least it's supposed to be. Maybe there's a bug and it's not doing anything. Who knows? But no, I'm gonna choose to trust it. Is that a good choice? Who knows? Hope so. Acorn coffee loses a tiny bit of its luster now that I don't get to sprint like at all. But A, warming up bonus. B, still helps me sleep more. This sucks. This just sucks. Of course, it's a headwind. Are you serious? What did I just say? What did I just say about headwind? What did I just say? I mean, I'm not turning back. Goal now is get to the car in the little tunnel area, be protected from wind, and it'll be warmer in the car. We can start a fire outside the car. Hopefully wait out the blue. I was okay with this car plan. Not super stoked, but I was okay with it. I had fir wood still from that limb that I chopped, which provides a lot of fire time, and there would be a lot of sticks on the way to that truck. I went as fast as I could, grabbing everything that was flammable along the way. I was losing condition rapidly. When I made it to the truck, I was at 25% condition again. But even inside the car, it felt like negative 28 Celsius. I am going to be overcautious here. Is a bit much to be throwing on here, but I don't care. Oh, don't go out, please. Are you serious? The wind is not blocked here? That was all of our firewood. Like, all of it. I'm trying to be fast without getting any bruising afflictions, because that also removes condition. I can hear my own heartbeat in my head right now. I get a full. Okay. How much do we have? 13. Okay. Oh, I just need this blizzard to not last a super long time. That's 2 hours. I gotta take some deep breaths. Two hours. I know there are some sticks that spawn around this cave area, but it's not a lot. We need to sleep while this is up. But I need food. We'll make our last porridge. I'm stressing. Please, Blizzard, please. I'm begging. Come on. I needed to try and find more sticks. Do I? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold the phone. Feels like -5. I do. I'm gonna be like 1 degree too cold. If I try and just use my bedroll. But maybe I could wait out the blizzard like that. I'll be 2 degrees too cold. I have nothing. No fuel options. We're just gonna have to wait it out. How is it still going? Gonna start freezing again.
Sure getting cold.
Oh, hold up. Hold up. Hold up.
Damn, I'm freezing.
Anything else? I'm in the red.
I need to find food.
Okay, I need to call that there. Come on. Come on. Please start. Please don't fail to start. Please just start.
Come on, little fire.
Okay. Man, what I wouldn't do for some birch bark tea right now, huh? Yeah, right? Trying to stretch this out, guys, but I still don't see how we're gonna make it. This blizzard would have to stop super soon. And I would need to be warm in this cave without a fire going. That's the only way that we get out of this. How is this blizzard still going? How long can I be out here? Possible for me to get a couple more sticks without touching freezing. No, it's not. I'm gonna be on a headwind on the way back. The amount of times that I've died in this exact cave because of this is crazy. I'm telling you guys, Forsaken Airfield has the most ridiculous blizzards. Ugh. This COD, I will do anything. Well, good run, you guys. Wait. Wait. Come on. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, wait. Okay, I need to not squander this. How much can I sleep? I need to get this off and hope that the weather doesn't turn again. And I can't really sleep less because there's no point, right? Like if the weather turns bad again, I die anyways. Oh shit, I should drink water. Fully rested. Okay. Did it get cold? Glimmer of hope just to squander it. How mean. Not gonna make it back in time. Oh, so mean. Why did it get warmer and then get colder?
It's a goddamn freezing.
I'll probably die while I'm starting the fire, honestly.
I've never been so hungry in my life.
I don't have Tinder. Yeah. Go.
Come on, little fire.
Oh. So, now what? Well, I keep trying. As of me writing this script, I've attempted 2 more runs, which both unfortunately ended up in fairly early deaths. And by that I mean I died either in Forsaken Airfield or in the Vacant Depot, which is early but still takes 2.5 hours per try, so it's been a little rough. But I've been testing out different strategies, and I am determined to beat this challenge. So stick around, because the next episode we have will be me speeding through all of Signal Void, and catching up to where I was when I died in that cave. Until then, I will be posting unedited footage of the other attempts that I've made where I unfortunately died, so keep an eye out for those. As for the unedited footage of the first attempt, unfortunately, there was a lot of stuff that kind of went wrong when I was capturing some of it. Got one corruption that we talked about, a couple things got lost as I was making space and I accidentally deleted them. A couple of them, my noise gate got messed up, so it ended up being, like, my audio was cutting in and out. Basically, I've decided to just not post that stuff. But I'm making extra sure to be extra careful that I can keep all of the further footage that I get is in good quality and that I can upload some unedited footage for you guys from that stuff. So, until then, guys, stick around. I will be beating this challenge. It is only a matter of time.